This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. We may be a comic duo, but we take mental health very serious. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is completely online. BetterHelp is a network with over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/amp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/amp.
Grab your coffee, grab your tea. This is Meredith on Anxiety Makes Me Poop. If you want to hear Cass's voice, go to Pet Loss Anxiety episode on Anxiety Makes Me Poop and go listen. That one's a really good one. Or if you want to go over to The Clopen Effect, it's a comedy retail podcast. We are funny. We are the funniest ones out there, right? If you didn't think so, we wouldn't do it, right? So, and let's just chat. You know, I have tea tonight. I was drinking Carbless last night with one of my besties. We were out last night doing some dancing and listening to another friend's band, and that was fun. But tonight, Saturday night, it is green tea. It's decaffeinated green tea tonight. So grab a drink and come listen to me for a few minutes. We're going to talk about getting over people who don't support you and how that can be challenging, you know, with our brains and trying to think through that. So again, I am not a therapist. If you need to speak to a professional, please go do that. I'm more of a career coach, but on this platform, I speak from the heart. I speak personal experiences, and that also is in my book as well. Every single story is something that I've been through and how I got through it. So whether someone says, well, that's not really how you should do it, it doesn't matter because it's how I did it. And I just want to share with people how I got over it and how I've grown and how I've become just a well-rounded, better person. And so that's what I use this platform for. And then I love when Cass comes to visit because then we just have an absolute blast talking about different subjects. So yeah, just keep hanging out there with us. This has just been such a great experience for both podcasts, actually. So everyone knows I have the book out there, Anxiety Makes Me Poop. I sold 107 copies today. Wow. Thank you. I mean, I don't have 107 family and friends. So I know it's people that maybe just found my book, or, you know, they're friends of friends or something and they supported me, and it's amazing. Was fun for me was to get a lot of great reviews. Like people have been sending me direct messages or Snapchats, text messages, just congratulating me. You know, they don't know another author or another writer. So they're like, you know, well done. This is amazing. Now I can say I know somebody. And it's just been really, really a fun adventure. On the other note, though, or on the other side, and I think it's due to social media, there are people that just don't support at all. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't want to support, that's totally fine. But I'm going to use the word surprising a few times here because it's surprising because you think the people that are going to support you and send you that note or send you back a Snapchat don't. Or the ones that you are surprised with are the ones that just come out of nowhere and they go, wow, we haven't seen each other in 30 years, but I'm going to go ahead and write an amazing review on Amazon about your book. And you go, holy cow. You know, like, so, you know, people are different. People have different, you know, we're all unique, right? That's the thing. So I'm not saying that it's bad that they don't support you, but as a human and a person with feelings, you know, sometimes getting over people that don't support us that we think should support us can be challenging. You know, and it's an essential part of prioritizing our own well-being and our own growth. And I just want to share how I'm getting over it. And again, with the social media, you know, I see family and some friends, you know, supporting other things, but then I'm like, wow, they didn't tell me that they were happy for me or anything like that. So I had to get that out of my brain because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do because everyone has their own preferences. Everyone is going to support who they want to support. So you have to look at it and say, okay, they're not going to support me. They're not going to say anything. That's totally fine. And we also have to remember that they might be supporting us. Like there's 107 orders today. That might be one of them. They just haven't let us know yet. For a super perfect example, I went over to a friend's house a couple days ago and I thought to myself, oh, she never even mentioned that, she bought my book or anything and she's one of my best friends. And the second that I walked into her house, she handed me a pen and said, well, I'm not going to read it until you sign it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was just the coolest moment, so I signed the book and then like on Thursday night, my cousin came over and she was like, hey, I need to have 2 books. I got to give one to my brother and, don't let me leave without you signing them. And that's amazing. And you're just so surprised, right? Because at first you're like, oh, maybe they don't like it or maybe they don't support me. And then they do. And then on the other side, you're like, oh, this person will support me. They support everybody else. They'll support me. And then they don't. And you're like, oh, man. So it's just challenging the balance of people because everyone's unique. You never know what people are looking at. You don't know what they see, especially on social media, all that fun stuff. So just want to get that out there. Number one, it's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. It's just something that we have to get over because people are different. People are going to support who they want to support. And then another note is, sometimes we get hurt because for many, many years, for a perfect example, for many, many years, we have been supporting certain people for a long time. You go and buy the Girl Scout cookies and, you buy the gifts and you support them. And then all of a sudden, when it's your turn maybe to get supported, there's nothing there. So it happens. We all go through it. And I just want to share my personal story here on this platform on it because it's nothing that we're doing. It's nothing that they're doing. It's just how we have to get through it. So just here's some ideas, right? So first, what I'm doing right now and what I'm explaining to you is that I'm just acknowledging my feelings. I'm accepting the emotions. I had seen that, a family member was all supportive on one thing, but I haven't even heard from that family member on my stuff. Now, that doesn't mean they haven't seen it or they had seen it. Like, I don't know the situation. So it's kind of normal that I just kind of like felt hurt or disappointed or wow, you didn't even send me a text message and I thought we were close and that kind of thing. It's silly. The brains are silly, right? And I acknowledged and I realized that immediately as soon as I went, oh, well, then forget you then. I'm not going to support you if you're not going to support, it's just, I'm going to say it's silly. It's not really silly because there are feelings involved, but I acknowledged them and I thought, oh, you know what? It's fine. I don't want to give them, and I don't want to give them any excuses. I don't want to say, they haven't seen it or anything. It's just not their forte, right? We always hear that. So I recognized it, I processed it and thought, okay, I'm stepping away from it now. And that's fine. That's fine. Again, if it's something that bothers you and it's keeping you up at night and it really, really hurts you, please go speak to someone. I'm not a therapist. I'm just sharing my own personal journey here. So if it's really something that you are just so upset about because maybe you have given and you're not getting anything back, you might need to speak to someone to help you get through that. So we'll just say that. So the next thing is focus on your self-worth. I'm going to say that again. Focus on self-worth. Like remind yourself of your own worth and your own value. You have to be independent of others' opinions or validations, which is what I had to do, especially one that I did. It's short stories of my life, where people are actually stepping into how I've lived, like things that have happened to me and how I got out of it. And so you're putting it all out there for people to read. Now, obviously, these stories are what I have selected and what I chose to share. Obviously, there's more out there to my life than these stories, so then people think that they know you, but that's a whole nother episode. But when you put yourself out there or you put, a post out there or when you say something, you're just sharing it all. So you have to be independent of others' opinions or validation on it. We might just want to get something off our chest, so we put it out there. Or if you are an author and you put your stories out there as well, and you just you're just out there on this big stage with all these people looking at you, and you don't know what's going to come at you, right? Bad reviews, good reviews, no support, big support. You don't know. So you have to celebrate your strengths, your accomplishments, and the qualities that make you who you are on your own, not from anyone else. It's always nice to hear, from a spouse or a significant other or a best friend or a child or anything like that. Of course, it's always amazing to get a compliment, but it starts from you first. Because people can tell you how amazing you are, but if you don't believe it, then it's their word is nothing. Or if they say something not so great, like we just talked about bad reviews, if they say something not so great and you don't have self-worth, that's going to be tough, right? That's going to be a hard pill to swallow. So, it's got to come from you. You have to know that you're unique. You have to know that you are the talent, you are worthy, and you did this for a reason. You did it for you, right? And to teach others, maybe, if it's something similar to my book. I just had a coughing fit, so I had to take a break. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden I was like, whoop, pause. Anyways, I just get so excited on here, I just do. The next one is to set your boundaries. So establish clear boundaries with people who consistently undermine or invalidate you. Now, for my situation, no one has said anything. It was just noticed. And I went, oh, okay, that's cool. Let's move on, right? I acknowledged it and moved on. But you may have people that undermine or invalidate you. So it's okay to limit your interactions with individuals who drain your energy or contribute negativity to your life. And you don't have to completely let them go, but emotionally, I feel like you have to let them go because what they say doesn't matter, especially if it's negative. And on the flip side there, surround yourself with those who uplift and encourage you instead. You got to find your people. I posted something on my personal that said, you got to find your people. Not everyone's going to support you, and that's okay. And others will support you, and that's okay too. But you got to find your people. So set those boundaries. Just acknowledge what they say. Now, okay, so there's a difference between constructive criticism. I have a friend that is very strong with criticism, but I welcome it and I understand it. And so it's not something that's negative or something that's undermining. It's always a growth lesson for me. He'll say certain things, and at first they may sting a little bit, and then I think about them, and I know everything that is said that comes from him is really from love. And, maybe you could do this, this, and this. And I think about it. And obviously I make my final decisions. But a lot of the times it may sound negative, because it's like constructive criticism. So even if you're a little sensitive too, it might, you might take it a little bit hard. But like I sleep on it. And the next day I go, yep, that's what I'm going to do. Or that was such a great idea. I'm going to focus on this along with my own uniqueness. Right. So, establish those clear boundaries for those that are very negative or invalidate you, but then also recognize those that maybe are that constructive criticism. They are positive. It may sting a little bit, but if it's true constructive criticism, you'll get over it and then you'll make decisions off of it. So just know the difference between someone that is going to negatively impact you or positively impact you. So seek support. Always. I always write that down in my notes before I speak. Always surround yourself with supportive friends, families, mentors. If you have to actually speak to a professional, go do that, especially if you can't get over it. If it's affecting your daily life or if it's affecting your mood or your sleep or your eating habits, please go seek someone. And if you have a supportive friend or family member, go to them too. Whatever you feel comfortable doing. Someone that's going to encourage you when you're having a bad day, or maybe someone that will give you positive advice. I say this all the time, right? I use the word positive. Make sure that they have that, emotional support for you, right? So I think we all have that. If we don't, let's work on finding somebody like that, or go seek someone professional. So the next thing is focus on your goals. Redirect that energy. Like this morning, I was like, you know what? Screw you. When I noticed that something was happening, and I immediately redirected my energy towards my goals, my passions, and my personal growth. I was like, no, this is about me. This is about me. It's not about the outside world, right? So I channeled my efforts into activities this morning, and then I even took a nap because it bothered me a little bit. And then I woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm recording on this. I'm talking about this. When I'm done here, I have a couple stories that I need to write for book number 2 that's coming out in March, and I'm going to do that. And I'm just staying committed to my aspirations, and I'm just going to believe in my ability to achieve them regardless of others' opinions or what they do. So again, This is not a bad thing. It's just how we work, right? Sometimes we're a little sensitive and we notice things. And so we have to just get over it. Practice self-care. I just said it. I took a nap today. I had a really crazy week. It was actually a roller coaster of a week, honestly. I mean, I know a lot of people say that, but I truly haven't had a roller coaster of a week in a very long time, but this week was. And by noon, I told my husband, wow, I am exhausted. I'm going to go lay down for a little bit. I hit the TikTok for a little bit, and then I fell asleep and woke up, and it was 4:00 today. What? I was like, what day is it? I'm like, it is almost nighttime, but you know what? I needed it. I needed that self-care, and that's what did it for me. Sometimes people work out, or they make a salad, or they, go for a walk or talk to somebody or whatever you need to do. You have some meditation or hobbies or spending time outside, anything like that. So any kind of activity that's going to promote relaxation, stress relief, mindfulness, anything like that. For me, it was a nap today. Tomorrow it's going to be running because that's what I like to do. The next one, and this is something that was very hard for me years ago, was to let go of resentment. Holding on to resentment or bitterness towards those who don't support you or say negative things, it just prolongs your suffering. So try to learn not to do that. Just practice forgiveness. Let go of the negative emotions that may be weighing you down. I had to do that today as well. Remember that you have the power to choose how to respond to challenging situations. And it really comes down to that, right? It's all about you and your choice, right? And how you're going to handle it. So, and I know sometimes you just can't get out of your head, right? You cannot get out of your head. And that happened to me for about an hour today. I was just like, really? And so I get it. I get it, right? I'm going to say that. A lot of people say that they get it and they don't, but I do get it. I understand that part of it because I just had it happen. And this is why we're talking about it. The next thing I want to say, and it's something that I have learned over this past year, I would say, is staying true to yourself. Stay true to your values, your beliefs, your authentic self. Remember why you started. I know a lot of people say that, so I'm here to remind you, remember why you started. Because nothing's easy and nothing comes easy to many people. I am especially one of them. Nothing has come easy for me. And I just have to remember why I started things. I started writing the book last year. I was taking a lot of courses last year, and I got halfway through the year and I thought, what am I doing? Like, I couldn't think of any stories. I had writer's block. I'm like, I really had this passion and this idea of what I wanted to do. And then I got stuck. And it was because the negative emotions started coming in and what I thought, people aren't going to like it, or people aren't going to support me, or, you can't do that. You got to keep true to yourself, understanding your values, your beliefs, why you're doing something and why you started. So if you're having any kind of negative, emotions or anything like that, just remember who you are, why you started, and where you're going. It's the journey, just enjoy it. And then, of course, celebrate your progress. We always have to celebrate our progress and our growth along the way. Recognize and acknowledge the strides that you've made in overcoming obstacles and cultivating a supportive environment for yourself. Each step forward brings you closer to living a more fulfilling and authentic life. And it's so true. It's so true. I have grown so much in this past year because I'm just staying true to myself. I'm celebrating my progresses. I'm sticking with positive relationships. I'm letting go of resentment. I'm practicing self-care. I'm taking naps. I'm running. I'm eating healthier. I'm focused on my goals. For example, my book comes out March 18th, I believe. I have it on pre-order right now on Amazon. And so it's a goal. Like, it has to be done. Amazon says that you have to upload your manuscript. I think it's like a couple days prior to the actual launch of the book. And so I have this date in mind, like, you have to get it finished. You have to get it edited. I already made the cover. You have to just keep going with your goals. Just keep working on them. And then obviously if there's like a little speed bump or something, that happens. That's fine. It happens. And then you just get through it and you keep going. Don't forget to seek support, please. I know a lot of us, we're strong in ourselves, and maybe talking to someone makes us feel weak. You're not weak. That's making you stronger, talking to somebody. Don't forget to set your boundaries for anyone that's maybe negative or kind of undermining you, focus on your self-worth, acknowledge your feelings. Okay? Just be like, here we are. Here we are, but here's how we're going to make it better. So you can do it. I know you can. Everyone has goals. Everyone has just some fun stuff that they want to achieve. Go get it. Go do it. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.